I have never heard of the sport of LARPing.
I've never heard of the term LARPing. No.
I've never heard of
Hockey or skating?
What's that thing where they're like doing that? What's that thing called?
Planking.
Planking. It reminds me of planking.
I think it's dancing.
Is it an English word?
Do the LARP.
LARP.
No.
I have absolutely no idea what LARPing would be.
Live action role playing.
Live action what?
Role playing. Everybody dress up in costumes, go out and fight people, fight each other.
Oh my good. Real swords?
Yeah, now I'm familiar with that. Yeah, I didn't know that was what it called.
Sounds interesting.
I could definitely see myself at some point LARPing, yeah.
I suppose now in my 50s.
If I saw a group of people LARPing, I generally go, that's pretty effing cool, and then kind of kick back and watch for a little bit.
I'd throw them on the hood of my squad car and get their IDs.
I pray for those that want to go ahead and try it. Okay? It's a free country.
I got involved when I started working in this building as the supervisor for the park district, and Dan Fry, came to me and he wanted to rent my facility. He wanted to rent for practices, and I thought he was crazy. He showed me his equipment, and he talks so fast, you just can't hardly keep up with him. And I thought, man, I don't know what I'm getting into. But I decided to give it a try. We rented the facility, and so we started with him being just a rental.
I'm the one who's organized all the practices. Around October, I start looking over the scheduling, and I come up with the entire winter schedule. This way, people can plan far enough ahead. You know, we all got wives, kids, and jobs. So I do the planning, and then my wife takes all the money in and makes sure people sign the waivers and make sure everything's legal and to the park district specifications.
When you're getting started, getting used to the pace of the game is the hardest thing. There's multiple weapons out there, like the javelins and the arrows. Those are missile weapons. They can hit you anywhere. If they hit you in the head, you're dead. Body, dead. Arms, same thing.
Being a little older and slower, I tend to do arching when I'm a little bit more tired, or when I find that one of the sides needs an archer. I would consider myself to be a kind of a mid-level archer. My unit specializes in support weapons, so arching is one of them.
It's a fun, fast-paced game of tag. Keep it simple, stupid. It's easy. It really is.
We don't do magic or any of that bullshit that a lot of people associate with LARPs, like fireball. Like, we don't do that. We just beat the crap out of each other.
Exactly.
And it's, but that's what everyone wants to prove, that we're not the nerdiest of the nerds. So
Being a knight or a squire is, it's dedication to the sport. You can be dedicated to the sport without being a knight or the squire, but it just shows a certain level of commitment, and where you just, you know the rules, you know how to start a realm. In different areas, you can go build things, teach others how to do it, and basically get things going, know how to do it. So.
I have heard of Morpheus. I hear his name actually a lot more often than I would think. I do know Morpheus, yes.
Morpheus, I've known him, I think 6 years.
Almost 10 years, probably.
I know Morpheus. I probably know people more by their fighting names than their real names.
Just going through, I met him at events.
I met him about a year into fighting because he's really, he's a huge knight. A lot of people know Sir Morpheus. He's got this big armor, and he comes onto the field, and you're just like, wow, that guy looks amazing.
My name's Danny Hoover. My persona name is Sir Morpheus the Caretaker. I am 33 years old. I've been doing foam fighting in general for going on 15 years. I just thought at the time when I was first starting out, I thought it was really, I'm like, that's a really cool sounding name. A couple friends of mine actually just kind of picked me up from work one day and took me over to this park, and there's all these people wearing funny clothes and hit each other with foam sticks. And I'm like, what is this? Went out on the field, basically got my butt walloped all day. So I leave the field, everybody was just like, hey, what's going on? Who are you? And it was just this camaraderie. And like, even though I had been there maybe 45 minutes, these people that were, 1 minute just clobbering the bejesus out of me are now being really social. Went back the next week, I cobbled together the most messed up costume that I could come up with out of this bat-winged sweatshirt that my mom had made me for a Gene Simmons costume. I quickly realized that this was something I was going to be with for a while. There are friendships that I've made in this sport that I know are some of the best friendships that I've ever had through high school, through anything. I even met my wife in this sport.
Like, we would come down to ISU and like I'd know who Morpheus was because people would talk about him, but then I didn't really know. And then my friend started dating his roommate, so then I had to come down to visit her, and so like met him through her at parties and stuff like that.
It wasn't like I saw her across the field and, you know, everything went slow motion and I was like, wow, she could really kick my butt.
The way he proposed is that we were at a fighting event, and during feast, he made an announcement on the table saying, thanks for having this, blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, there's one other thing I have to do. And he got down on one knee in front of me, in front of like 300 people, and he asked me to marry him. So there, like, well, like, I'm getting embarrassed.
Basically, all Morpheus is Danny turned up to 11.
One of the girls that was standing on the side was like, just try it. All right, so I picked up a sword and a shield and I ran out there and it was just so much fun, and I've been hooked ever since.
I've been in 8 weddings where they met through Belegarth. Like, if I were to go in the other room, there's probably like a bunch of couples who met through fighting.
You say LARP, but it's not exactly the same, where you don't develop a character and then you're that character and then that character gets better because you do certain maneuvers. It's you get better because you practice at it, like baseball or basketball. If you don't put any time in it, you're not going to get better at it, and this is the same way.
It's kind of a reason to get up and work out a bit, or try to improve your skill, or in one way or another, you know. And not to mention the fact that there's very few people in this sport that I've found that I can't have a great time with.
How does anybody meet anyone?